Hello friends, thank you for joining us today. I am Alex.
I'm Sean.
And we have the pleasure of talking to you about Frozen 2.
And I think Into the Unknown is a better song than Let It Go. Deal with it.
Wow. Hot take. Yep. Sean with the hot takes over here. I mean, you're almost not wrong. The music is the best part of this movie.
Yes. Even though there was just, I felt like a lot of songs.
Fine.
It was a lot of songs.
It's an animated musical. Before we go further, this is a spoiler review.
Absolutely.
So if you have not seen the movie, go do that. Literally pause, go watch the movie, and then come right back and sit your butt down and watch us talk about this.
Yeah.
Because we have some opinions.
Yeah. So first thing for me is if you've been watching the trailer reviews leading up to this, I had not seen Frozen.
This is true.
Before.
Sean was a Frozen virgin.
Yeah, I didn't see it, and a couple of weeks before seeing Frozen 2, I saw Frozen. It was okay.
That's a lot of people's reaction, actually. There's the people who are, absolutely obsessed and love this movie, and then there's the people who are like, nah.
I mean,
I'm one of them as well.
Yeah, I think my feelings for the first movie are kind of the similar feelings that I have for the second one. I thought the first one and this one were setting up a lot of things and didn't pay off a lot of things, but I had a good time watching it.
Huh.
But I thought it could have been a better movie.
Oh,
and some of the songs were like, yay, and other songs, okay, I guess.
Well, let's talk a little bit about where we start in Frozen 2. So we start off, Elsa's the queen, things are going well with her and Anna. Anna? Who am I? Where have I been? Anna. They're dealing with it, and
first we get the flashback with the parents.
Yeah, that's true. We get a little bit of
the story going forward.
We do get a little bit of backstory, but in terms of where we left off from the last movie, that's where things are status quo. Everything's going well. Everything's going good.
Mm-hmm.
But we do get to learn a little bit about some sort of mysterious forest and lullaby, and then they go there. End of the review.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think? Like, subscribe, comment below.
Basically, I mean, but just for me, it's just they're playing just like the first one. They're setting up this sisterly bond, and they're gonna be together, together in the entire movie, and then they're playing charades, and they're together, and they start on this adventure together. And then they get separated, and then they're pretty much on their own adventures separately. And for me, that's not what I think this franchise should like. The franchise is talking out of both sides of their mouth. It's trying to be, we're trying to promote sisterly power and sisterly love, and they don't need a guy.
Who needs a man?
But then it's then they're separated, and they have to do their own things, and then Kristoff is there, but they don't really need him, but he's there. It's what are you what are you doing?
Here's the thing. It's sure, these strong women who are sisters, found their way to each other, and they won the day, but there was no threat, really.
Yeah, especially in the first one.
No, I'm talking about the second one. We're not talking about the first one here. In the second movie, which is what we're doing a review on now,
yes,
there is no villain.
Nope.
So therefore, it kind of renders their journey a little. It's okay, but you didn't have to go.
Yeah.
Elsa's the one who's putting everyone in danger by kind of following the whim and following this Northly song that isn't 100%. Try it again.
I don't know. That was. There you go. That's better.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, you did good too.
Yeah.
Give him a round of applause. So there's no real pressure on them to do anything with any. There's no ticking clock. There's really no. There's no problem here outside of the fact that Elsa's just I must go.
Well, I mean, it would be more interesting if because kind of she's the only one hearing the voice too, so they could have did more with that they thought that she was going crazy, and they could have played with that element of it.
Oh no.
They could have.
Never call a woman crazy.
Well, but I'm just saying, but they could have went down that road that she's losing control. They could have.
So I didn't mean to cut you off,
yeah.
but this is actually perfect because this is the one thing I hate about the first movie is they should have made her the villain. like full-fledged, like maybe she can come back like Maleficent style, the new Maleficent, like, oh, there's still some good in there, but oh my god, she's really bad, like she's making all the wrong choices, hurting people. That would have been actually perfect, where finally in the second one, her call to villaindom is, you know, I mean, of course, they would never do that. Yeah, they would never do that because she's such a hero. But it would have been really, really interesting for a character to sort of see her go to the dark side and get really wrapped up in her magic and her power.
Yeah. And I felt the opposite. I think Anna should have been the villain. Like, especially when she got that ice hit her, it should have hit her heart, and then she could have started becoming like a cold person, and then
that could have worked.
Elsa has to kind of figure out her powers to kind of get the ice out, and then the second one could have been more about like Anna just embracing more of her humanity and being more connected, whatever, but obviously that wasn't the way they went. But for me, again, without having a villain, there's like, what are the real stakes here? It's like, yes, that dam was built, and just knocked it down.
But here's the thing, like, this affects people that we didn't know prior to halfway into the movie. It affects tribes that didn't exist prior to halfway in the movie, as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, we didn't know about them
it's
before.
Like, okay, they're introducing these new characters who actually have names, and it's like, I don't know your name, I don't care who you are, what's going on, and it was very, very convoluted in terms of what it was trying to do, and I think that's from lack of villain.
Yes.
Because it's the villain who has to put pressure on the main characters to make the right choice, to make the wrong choice, to, really struggle. And obviously there was some drama, they get separated, and Elsa kind of goes her own way, and Anna gets lost in a cave and thinks her sister's dead, but also didn't really ring true because we all know she's not, and it's going to be fine. So yeah, I think it was lack of pressure from an external force that really had me not thinking this movie was up to par in terms of where it could have been.
I mean, I think another thing that it could have helped it if they had a character that was the fifth element, that once that their grandfather did that portrayal, was just kind of like, all right, you know what? I can't trust you guys. I'm gonna build this mist wall, and we're gonna protect ourselves by cutting away from you guys. We don't want you guys around, and then that person is trying to at some point reach out to...
Has to prove herself, or himself, or whoever.
And then reaching out to Elsa, kind of like, I could feel, like, once, like, that character was awakened by Elsa's power, and it's like, I want you to join us, come over here, you have power.
There was no...
kind of luring her more or less, kind of like to the dark side a little bit. Saying, like, you should be with us.
Yeah.
You're one of us. Like, don't be like them. And something like that. Like, give the movie a little bit more spice to it. Like, I know, like, these movies are for kids. I get that.
Doesn't matter. Have you seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Like, kids are, like, and I give Disney credit that there's no poop jokes and fart jokes in this, that they're telling a family movie that can relate to kids, especially little girls, and to adults, but you don't have to, for lack of a better word, kid it down where you can, because this movie's a little bit darker than the first one. I will give it credit for that, where it may not sit well with some kids, maybe, depending upon how young they are.
If they're already into the Frozen universe, they're not going to care.
Maybe not as much, like, but like
Elsa's got
seeing
a new dress.
Olaf die, but even though he comes back and
he starts to melt.
I mean,
but like none of that matters.
No,
because we all know that they're gonna come
back.
Yeah,
but little kids being, they might get a little scared. Like if they're like 5 and under, maybe. Anything over that is fine. But I just think the movie lacks a little like oomph. Like it just was. They play it very safe.
It lacks actual darkness. You're saying it's darker than the first one, but it lacks actual darkness.
Yeah.
Like if they were to find their parents' skeletons on the ship. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, like there really wasn't any like really difficult choice that anyone had to make.
Not really.
Like Elsa's like, yeah, I'm going, and they're like, well, we're following you, and she's like, no, don't, it's too dangerous, and it's like, all right,
but I'm going anyway. But
okay,
you can't do anything.
So that's the movie.
Okay.
And I was really disappointed because they really made it sound like we were gonna get to really have some kind of mind-blowing like understanding of where Elsa's powers really came from.
Or a big reveal or something like that.
Exactly.
It was building towards like we're gonna get this big revelation, and we kind of like for me the movie did a better job telling the parents' backstory than it did furthering Anna or Elsa's characters moving forward. Like they had some character development moments, but I didn't really learn anything more about them than I did going in.
Yeah.
And that's what I was really wanting to know. Like going in, I was like, I want to learn about like Elsa, where her powers came from, like why she has powers, why Anna doesn't have powers, something of that nature, and we didn't get any of that.
Of course, and like what we learned from their parents and about the past is that mom was part of this other, indigenous tribe, and then saved their dad from something. I need to watch it. That just goes to show how kind of like, I don't want to say boring, but it was kind of like
disjointed.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, saves him from something and cool. So everything's But like I was thinking like maybe that's where Elsa got her powers from. Like mom actually also has powers and has been hiding it this whole time.
Yeah.
Like she's the power of wind, or something, and she has that inside her and had to keep it quiet as well. Like that would have been a really interesting dynamic. And learning about your parents after they're gone, even if they're still alive, like that's really harrowing, and especially if it's something as important as your powers. That should have been what she learned when she got there. It's like, oh my gosh, it's not this crazy mystical thing. I'm not that special. I got it from my mom.
Yeah.
My mom's the special one. I don't know. That it just really felt disjointed in that way.
But it's weird because they spent a lot of time in this movie telling us more about characters that aren't alive anymore, and that we don't spend a lot of time with. So you're focusing on revealing something about characters that we haven't spent a lot of time with.
Yeah.
Like they were in the beginning of the first one, and that was it. They were in the beginning of this one, and then we see a little bit more, and then that's it. It's like, okay, we learn more about them, but then there are characters that going forward, unless you do some more flashbacks, we're not going to see anymore. Now, if it was telling a story through flashbacks that directly affects Anna and Elsa, that's one thing. And this movie kind of alluded to, but not really, that because the mother saved the father, that the power elements or what have you granted them Elsa her powers, kind of, sort of. I don't know if I'm making that up or if that was kind of a connection that was made. I don't know. I think that happened. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if the movie was alluding to it. Even if it didn't do a great job because I'm not 100% sure that was the thing. So I don't understand the thought process of putting so much focus on like parents because I don't care about them enough.
Right.
I just don't.
They didn't. Nothing actually happened outside of just like, oh, they met. That's nice.
Yeah.
As far as I could understand, and I find it really. So I was saying when they were talking about the water, wind, earth, fire.
Heart. Oh no, that's Captain Planet. Sorry.
Right. Well, I was thinking Avatar, The Last Airbender. Actually, and I was like, oh, what a ripoff. But I almost wish it was a ripoff because what they did was just so much less impressive. It was just like, okay, here's this little lizard who does fire, and then there's the rock guys, there's the water horse, and then there's just the wind. It's like
sell toys. So like that salamander's gonna be a toy. That rock thing's gonna be a toy. That horse is gonna be a toy.
So how is this human woman, power of ice, the fifth element who can? Nothing made sense to me. I'm so sorry, and I'm sure if I watch it 10 more times, maybe I'll be able to string something together.
No, but it didn't explain how or why she's the fifth element. It didn't explain that was not explained at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about this before. This movie just exists to make more toys
and
sell Elsa's new white dress, and of course your hair's down now, so all the wigs, all of, that's gonna be a whole thing.
And then when we saw it, there was a woman dressed up like Elsa. It was just like, they were like, oh my god, and the people were just like going nuts. I was just like, it's just a woman in cosplay.
I would have been like,
relax.
Tips please.
You probably could have if you dressed up like her, like
I would.
Like just like on Hollywood Boulevard play, you gotta give me money to pose with pictures. But I mean, we could just almost go by character, like Elsa.
That's a good idea.
Like obviously, so she kind of gives up her queendom, her crown, to live in the forest and protect
with her girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, with that, so we know after the first one, Disney knows this, we know this. Us as fans, you look at Elsa as a lesbian character. Whether they want to fully admit it or not, that's another thing. But knowing that we think that, they put their toe right up against the line with introducing that character, Moonblood? Honeycomb? Or Honey's something. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Like, they introduced, and then you could see that, almost like they're winking at us and like, yeah, we know, but we're not going to go there, but see, she could go there, but we're not going to, it's like, come on, don't mess with us like that. It's either she is or she isn't. Make up your mind. I don't like that you're winking, like, just do it or don't do it.
But here's the other thing I was going to say. It's very possible that she's just having a communication with another woman that's not romantic in any way.
Of course. That's possible.
Or Elsa's completely asexual, which is the LGBTQA part of the equation.
That's fine too. But if they know what we think she is, and then they're just kind of winking at us with that. So for me, it's like, pick a side. Like, have her have a guy male love interest, or have a woman male, or just don't do anything at all. I just don't like this. Like, again, for lack of a better word, being half pregnant. Like, maybe she is, or maybe she isn't. Ooh, we know, but we're not gonna tell you.
It definitely felt like the scene with them, with her and Honeycomb or Helen Mirren.
I don't know.
With the fire, like, it felt like it did feel very like sensual.
Yeah, and there was something there.
And I talk to women all the time without talking romantically or about men or whatever, and it doesn't sound like that. You know, it's not like oh, you know, we just kind of talk really candidly, and it did feel it felt sensual. It really, really did, and I have no problem saying that it wasn't, but it was. It totally was.
For example, so you can look at it this way: if she was, it's there. If it's not, you can see that it's not. It's like, that's what I'm saying. They're playing it right down the middle with and you, depending upon how you look at it, you can see it either way, and I don't like that. It's like you're leaving too much to the imagination with that point.
Sure. Here's another thing, though, just about Elsa's character. She obviously loves her sister, but she's still, like, really aloof and just kind of in her own world, and so it would actually be nice to see her connect to another human character.
Yeah.
Whether it be another woman or another man or an elder, like, literally anyone else, it would be nice to see Elsa kind of make a connection with another human person, because she's just so, like, you know, I'm hearing voices, I must go.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
like, she's always just been that way.
And you can see she's trying to connect to her sister and Kristoff and them, but she's not a part. She's trying to be in the circle, but she's still outside the circle.
Right.
All in the same time. She's in there and out because she's been shut off for so long.
It's a very relatable character.
Yeah,
like, a lot of us feel left out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do wish they would play that up a little bit, because she's a loner. Exactly. And the fact that she's a loner that has a sister that's trying to be closer, like, you could play with that a lot more. Like, if you actually had them have scenes together.
Yeah, but that was the first movie. Like,
but even in the second movie, they're not in the movie together.
That's my point. I don't need to see the same story told twice, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Elsa's off on her. Oh, she doesn't think I love her, but I do love her. I want to be with you, Elsa. I'm your sister. Like, that's the exact same movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's because there's no pressure from any other villain or outside force.
Yeah.
I don't even know what more to say.
I mean, I think maybe with what I do like is the idea that now she is separated from her sister, in the sense that maybe she will grow now as a character on her own, and not.
If we get a third one,
which we're gonna get one. This movie's making a lot of money. So the idea of her, like, off in the forest, kind of developing herself. Maybe because she develops herself, she would then have a better relationship with her sister, because she could find and understand herself and her powers a lot better on her own, and that might make her a better person, and more maybe her able to relate to Anna better that way. I don't know.
I still think she should be the villain. I mean,
she
honestly,
still could be.
The original idea was that she was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
Because this movie has been in production development for 15 years now. And initially, when they were doing it, Elsa was going to be the Snow Queen. The movie was actually based off the Snow Queen. And they clearly, took a completely different direction on that. But it would be interesting to see her go back into that, but they can't do it now because she's such a hero.
Yeah.
You can't have her. You can't do it. So.
Yeah, and so we get. What about Anna? So I mean, we really learned more about her.
Exact same thing. She just wants her sister to be her friend.
Yeah, and she's willing
to
put herself in...
Let me protect you.
She's willing to put herself in danger to help her sister.
There was literally nothing else I learned about Anna.
No, I mean, she had she showed a lot of courage, but she showed courage in the first one. She did that in the last one, yep. She was sad because Olaf died, and she showed some more courage.
I'm bored.
And she broke the dam.
Bored.
And she became queen.
Bored.
That was it.
Real bored.
I mean, and to me, they focused way more on her in the first one than they did on Elsa, which I think was a mistake. But they focused more on. They kind of got a equal amount of screen time, but I still think Elsa should always. She's the more interesting character because she has powers. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna play that up. Or if you could play the fact that Anna doesn't have powers and she needs to overcompensate because she doesn't, then play that angle up. But they don't do either or, so it just kind of feels like...
I just want to say they should follow the original Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man formula, right? First Spider-Man, I have my powers. What do I do with them? Oh my gosh, learning. 2, I don't want them anymore. They're getting in the way of everything. Oh no, maybe I don't want powers and it's affecting my life. Oh no. 3, powers are going to my head. I'm going to use my powers because I'm real cool now. So and maybe I can get a new girlfriend.
Emo Elsa?
See, I think that's a perfect formula for what happens when you suddenly have powers.
Yeah.
Not that Elsa suddenly has powers. She's always had them, but they take on a new meaning for her. So I just find it really weird that...
Oh, you know what would be nice? What if, they had switched? Elsa somehow gave Anna her powers, and then Elsa doesn't have powers, and then, oh my god, Elsa, I completely understand what you're doing now, because these powers are crazy, and Anna's Elsa be I love not having powers, and then kind of having to deal with, kind of like Spider-Man 2. Oh, I don't have powers. I can live without powers. But then realizing, oh, I need powers, and Anna's I don't need powers to be helpful. That would have been cool. Anything would have been cool. This movie just plays it so safe.
Well, I gotta say one other thing. The elephant in the room about the fan theory about Tarzan being their long-lost brother. So if you're not familiar with this, the fan theory is that when Anna and Elsa's parents went on their little boat trip in the first movie and never came back, what they actually did was they were going to... the wedding for Rapunzel in Tangled, because they're actually shown there in the scene walking up to the wedding. And you can look other videos up about this that zoom in on it. Totally happened.
Yeah, they're there.
And then the fan theory is that on their way home, they didn't make it and they got marooned on an island where they then gave birth to Tarzan and died at the hands of a panther. I love that because I think it's really fun to, even if they never confirm it, I think it's just really, really fun to draw those lines in between these movies because it really is kind of like a Disney expanded universe. It's hard not to think of all these movies taking place in the same kind of dimension. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what this movie did, Frozen 2, is they kind of put a little wrench in that by finding their ship, which was on the shores of northern Norway, Arendelle, whatever. It threw a wrench in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sad about that. I gotta be honest with you because I liked once again, it goes back to this mystery element. You have to maintain some element of mystery in any story that you're telling, otherwise it becomes boring. And I liked the mystery of not knowing really where their parents were going or where they were. Olaf did say, though, that they weren't, that the ship was not helmed.
Yeah.
So, Who knows?
But,
It could still.
I mean, it put a crush on it, but didn't kill it completely.
Well, I gotta say one other thing too. This voice that Elsa was hearing, the "oh," is very similar to "oh," which is Tarzan.
I mean, if you want to make that connection, which is fine, but I think again, but
it's just so much more interesting than actually watching the movie.
That's fine, but it's another thing that like the storytellers know that that's a thing, and for them to kind of like purposely kind of kill it is a little weird. Like you can tell your story without just like I'm going to crush that little dream, because it's the same thing like with Pixar. Everybody thinks that all those movies take place in the same universe, and they find the connections. They're not 100% coming out. Pixar's not coming out and saying, yes, this is 100% true. They're not denying it or admitting it. They're just leaving it out there. If you want to make those connections, fine. They're not killing that. But I think this movie kind of killed that thread by doing that. Well, they didn't kill. They kind of stepped on it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still a thing. Maybe it's not. I don't think Disney would 100% say yes, they are Tarzan's parents. I don't think they're ever going to say that. But the idea that you can think that there's enough crumbs to lead you down that road.
It would have been so much fun for them to enhance that without actually saying it.
Yeah.
Be like, oh yeah, they got lost in the Southern Sea on some island, and it's like, oh, a Tarzan.
But again, that's them. Just like, we know what you think. Yeah, it's like, don't do this. Tell your story without winking at us. Like that was another wink. Like, yeah, we know what you guys think,
and it's not right.
Like, you don't need to do that. All right, Kristoff. So I always find this guy like really annoying. I found him annoying in the first movie. Like that thing about the elk, talking for the elk. Like that's stupid. And annoying, and I don't know why a woman would find that like charming or endearing. That's just weird.
Anna hasn't been out much.
Maybe so, but like that is kind of like
better than
that's kind of like the second guy she's kind of been around. So.
See, yeah, she doesn't know any better.
Maybe
that would
that's
weird me out.
Really annoying, and the fact that he kept doing it, it's just like.
He's just not like the greatest guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's
okay. I mean, he tries, but just like, dude, you haven't been out much either. You're pretending to talk for your animal. It'd be one thing if it was just like Scooby-Doo, it just talks, but you're kind of talking for it, is weird. But anyway, so to be or
but
even.
Then he finds a buddy. He finds a buddy
that
who
does the exact same thing, and just like, dude, you guys need to get laid. But the idea
by someone other than an orangutan.
Yeah. But the idea that he's trying to propose to her the entire time, he kept messing it up and getting cut off. It reminded me of The Rescuers Down Under, where that's another B or C plot where he's trying to propose and it keeps getting interrupted.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans happen, and it's not until the very end when he actually does it, and she says yes, and in that movie they say yes. So it was very interesting to see him kind of keep bumbling and digging his hole deeper and deeper. I would have actually liked, and this is kind of trope-ish, I know, but for her to kind of get really annoyed that he keeps like kind of bringing this kind of stuff up.
There should have been one moment where it looked like that was it.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of formulaic, but it would have spiced it up a little bit more.
Some kind of drama in this movie.
Yeah, because after a while, like he sings his song, which in my opinion is the best song in the movie. What's it called? Oh my god, I don't even remember what it's called. Into the Woods. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great song. I love the 80s feel of it too.
Yeah,
that was very funny.
It was nice to break it up.
Yeah. Like, but it was funny how after that he's gone for like a long part of the movie, and then Anna's just running through the forest, and he just there he is. It's like, oh yeah, he's in the movie.
Don't forget about the love interest, because every Disney movie has to have the love interest.
Yeah, well, not really. Like, if you want to get away from this...
Yes, they do.
Well,
of course they do. It's Disney.
I mean, no, I think for me, all these movies need to have princesses, which this movie does.
They also have to have the love interest. Show me a Disney movie that doesn't have a love interest. But you can
break away from that formula, and if you're going to do it in any franchise, it's this one, where you have two sisters.
Well, that's what I hated about the first one, is like you said, they were touting like, oh, sisterly love, it's not about a man, but of course there's men.
Yeah, like it would have been cool if Anna and Elsa went on this adventure without Kristoff. And then you could still play the exact same angle where he's trying to propose, she leaves, he's back in with the other people trying to figure out, oh my god, when she comes back, how am I going to propose? Should I do it? Like, you could have made a whole bit. I could propose this way. And then they're like, no, that's stupid. I could do it that way. And you could just keep cutting back to him and him trying to figure out, no, I should do it this way. And they're like, no, that's stupid. And then him figure out the right way.
Or just kill him off at the beginning.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't do that. But, like, he does not need to be on the adventure with her. And it kind of makes it feel like, oh, there's these strong women. They still need a man around. Like, can you drive this? Can I borrow your sled? No, I'll drive the sled. It's like,
so
no,
annoying.
you don't need. They're
kind of care.
They're shoehorning him in for no reason, and then they forget about him, and then they come. Oh yeah, he's in the movie. He needs to come back.
It just goes to show how completely convoluted this film was in terms of plot.
Yeah.
I mean, just completely convoluted.
Yeah.
Like, what were they trying to do? And introducing, Grandpa was an evil guy, but we don't know Grandpa. Who the fuck's Grandpa?
Yeah, it's like...
I never knew Grandpa.
That reveal that, like when the ice sculpture, froze, and, you see him, going to attack the other tribe, he was like,
so?
Duh.
Yeah, duh.
And I was like, so, and so what?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay. Like, it'd be different if that character was still alive, and he comes back... And then he kind
of... At the beginning of the movie, and he's like, hey, I'm taking over.
Yeah.
And Elsa's like, thank God, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, you take over,
Like, he comes out of the mist, and they're like, oh, I'll lead Arendelle. And then they find out, oh, he's the bad guy. And they're like, oh, let's, add on to the dam or something. He wants to do something,
Yeah.
shady or something like that.
We're writing this movie.
He's the bad guy.
We're writing this movie better in the course of 20 minutes than they did in 6 years.
We're giving you watch it. They take these elements and put in Frozen 3. You could have done something interesting with that character. So, that could have been your main villain. He could have been, or the Fifth Element could have been. Anybody else could have been. But the idea, that aside, let's talk about the best character in this movie was Olaf. They gave him that's a character that earned and deserved more screen time than he got in the first one. He got shortchanged in the first one, to be honest with you. In this one, he got just enough screen time where he wasn't annoying, but he was annoying the characters, but he wasn't annoying us. But I love the fact that the characters in the movie made it aware that, yes, you are being a little annoying. And if he kept going, he might have become more annoying, but I think he was in there just enough where he just hey, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here. Even though he had his own little song, which was nice, which is something that, and we were kind of talking this before we started shooting, it speaks to adults directly. Things make better sense when you get older.
But they don't. That's the joke. The joke is no one knows what they're freaking doing, no matter how old they are. Especially not me. But that's the joke.
But then I made the counter argument is that, it's funny when you're watching certain movies as a kid, and you're laughing at jokes that are being told, but you don't know why you're laughing. It's set up for you to laugh, but you're not really getting the real meaning behind the joke until you get older and you're like, oh, that's what I was laughing at. I should have been laughing when I was a kid, but it's still funny. Yeah. So I love Disney in the fact that they know who their audience is. They're not speaking directly just to kids. They're speaking to
sure. There were a lot of adult. There were some weird sex moments in there too, innuendo, sex innuendo moments where. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
again, I was a little uncomfortable.
But again, the kids don't know. Yeah. That goes right over their head. But there's that when we saw it, there was a lot of adults in there. Without kids. Yeah, we're taking their kids and without kids. We never kids. But the idea that they know who their audience is. They're speaking to a family. Not just to the kids, not just to adults, but to a family.
It's so Disney. It's genius.
They get it.
This ain't no Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I wish other studios would look instead of catering to little kids with fart and poop jokes, you can cater to a wide audience and still be kid-friendly.
Yeah.
And Disney has figured that out, and Pixar has figured that out. I wish everybody else would. But that's besides. But Olaf was great. If he was in it more, I would have been all right, that's too much.
I love it. He's having an existential crisis. I can relate. He's the character that I relate to. Completely.
And I love the fact that they got a little lazy, because in the first one, he had that little cloud over him that was supposed to keep him frozen. And in this one, they're just like, oh,
Are you enjoying your permafrost?
Yeah, like, so we don't have to draw that stupid cloud over your face. It was like, yeah, we're not animating that thing the whole movie. You're crazy.
Well, Elsa's powers have gotten stronger.
Yeah, which is fine. So they was like, yeah, we're not animating that thing. Like, oh.
Yeah. We can't have a cloud.
Let's ride ourselves out of that thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just permanently frozen
Are you
now.
enjoying your permafrost?
Yeah. I was like, okay.
They had to find some way.
I know, but that was just, like, that's one of the first lines, like, oh, are you enjoying the thing that we did to you off screen so you don't have to have that cloud over your head? Animators are like, yeah, don't have to worry about that. So that was funny. And everything else is like, Sterling K. Brown's character was nice. It's nice to see, like, to his point, it's nice to see some more diversity in Arendelle.
But, like, there's one black guy.
I know,
I'm
which is...
sorry. Like, you're not even trying.
I know. It's nice and weird and awkward all at the same time because they're not talking to it directly, but it's like, hey, there's one.
And he doesn't really matter. He's just there. But he's there, right?
Like,
and he's black.
he has some importance, but not really. Like, he has an important title. He's not really important to the story. He has some a nice moment where
I call bullshit.
He saves Anna, helps save Anna. And he couldn't even do that by himself. What's his name had to come and help him save her.
I call bullshit. I call total bullshit. That's not diversity. That's just throwing a black dude in.
He's in there. I mean, he's in there. There's a lot of movies where there's none. So,
like the first Frozen.
Yeah. I mean, yes. But to their credit, if you want to give them any credit, he's there. So,
I feel well, okay.
I mean,
try harder next time.
In my opinion, if you're going to have one character of color, and if you want to combat me and say, well, the tribal people could be Native Americans.
Well, they're not in America.
They're not in America.
This is not a place that actually exists.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to combat me with that, I guess, but not really.
Not really.
At least have him, Sterling K. Brown's character, do more or have make him be the villain. I don't care. He can be a villain too. He could have been like, I told the king to do, we're writing the movie for them. I told the king to portray them because I had my own motivations. Like, have him have more importance. Because right now he's just like, I'm the leader of the guard and I've been here for 35 years and whatever. I don't know.
I got lost.
Like, oh, we protecting the dam. Okay. Oh, we got to destroy the dam. Okay. And now I'm chilling with this girl and we're talking about looking at my picture and then that was it. You didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, there was a black woman.
Yeah, but at the very end.
What the fuck did she? Yeah.
He mentioned her like, hey, what's her name still there chilling?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know. It felt, but also like, of course, only black people can date black people. I don't know. It felt like, I don't know.
It felt too token.
Yeah, like you're being.
Which I don't like that, but
that's actually a good way to put it. It felt too token, where it's like, yes, of course, the woman that he's pining over is also.
Yeah, not to say that they're doing this, and someone's just like, yeah, I know one black man. He's right there. It's like, they didn't do that. I'm not saying they did that, but it's
there he is.
It's just I don't know. I almost rather him not be black and then just like they didn't have one just to throw the character is important to show diversity. That is important, and for that I give them credit for it. But if you're going to go out of your way to have a black character in it voiced by a talented actor, I wish you gave him that character a little bit more to do and be a little bit more meaningful.
Of course,
Sterling K. Brown is a very up and coming actor.
I agree,
and I wish he had more to do.
But here's the other thing too. Don't forget this is animated.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, of course you want a black character to be voiced by a black person, because I think it would be weird otherwise.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can really have a complete diversity of different skin colors and facial features and all that stuff without necessarily... it's easy. You just animate it. It's animated. Yeah. Like, it's not like you have to cast very meticulously, even if they're just standing in the background. Like, they don't have to be big actors who are
No.
fulfilling these voice roles. Like, all you have to do is draw that and put it in the background.
Yeah.
If you want to feel like you're bulking up the...
I mean, you could have even made that tribe like an African tribe if you want to be more diverse. That they came from. You could make up an African country and then they landed there and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have done that. They could have done anything else to be a little bit more diverse, but they didn't. Does the movie suffer from it? Not really.
There's other problems.
I do like the idea that when I heard Sterling K. Brown was in the movie, because I love him from This Is Us and he's in Black Panther and so on, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a lot to do, because the thing you like about sequels is that they make the world a little bit bigger and they introduce new characters. So I was like, oh, he's going to be a central character, one of the new central characters, but he kind of really wasn't. So that was a little disappointing. Anything else? I mean, they do leave it off where if there wasn't a Frozen 3, it's a nice way to like end the franchise, but I doubt there won't be a Frozen 3.
I don't know. I don't even know if it was nice. It felt very unsatisfying to me personally.
What? I mean, if you want to think of like the happy ever after kind of thing, that a lot of these movies, when they first were developed, it's like, oh, they have a happily ever after. So,
but like, why is Elsa so happy there as opposed to down there? Because everyone knows she has ice powers. Everyone's accepted her. She's fine down there. So what is the difference between her life in Arendelle and her life?
She's more in her element there, and then you could kind of say that Anna is more of a people person, so she's better suited to be queen.
Convoluted.
I mean, again, you're pulling at things that necessarily the movie isn't giving you reasons to pull that way, but it doesn't matter. There's gonna be a Frozen 3 anyway, so it doesn't matter because there's gonna be.
Well, now I want one because I'm like, you got to fix this. But you know what they say about middle movies.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. But middle movies don't have to feel like a great middle movie should be able to stand on its own without you having to set up the third one and pay off the first one. The best example is The Dark Knight. It's a great middle movie without feeling like a middle movie.
That's an exception.
Like you can see The Dark Knight without seeing Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises and be like, that was a great movie. You can watch the Empire Strikes Back without watching Star Wars and Return of the Jedi. I'm like, oh, that's a great movie. And those are great middle movies if you look at it as a trilogy.
Yeah.
But I don't think this movie does a great job of paying off the first one and setting up the second one until we see the third one.
Right.
Sorry, setting up the third one without seeing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but this movie's making way too much money for them to kind of ignore the possibilities of a third one. But when they do make a third one, what would you like to see? I doubt it'll take that long, but maybe. What would you want to see?
Drama, stakes. Anything. Screenwriting things. No big deal. A villain, like an actual villain, is what I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see Elsa go deep into her powers, in a place that she can't get out. I want to see Anna become more than just, oh, I have to save my sister. I'm with you, sister. I want to see more of her than just that. Like, maybe she's over it. Maybe she's like, you know what? No, I have been there for you. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm here in Arendelle. I'm the queen. Screw you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see some real, actual drama. Like, just, you know what they say is, like, you pick your main character, and you have everything go wrong for them.
Yeah.
And then the story is them picking it up. And that's what makes, like, a good character piece, is you write your character, you determine what it is that they hate the most and what would make them, the most upset, and then you do it. Just like an evil, evil god. Yeah, and then that's also another funny thing. Who is the protagonist in these two movies? It's like and you might say, well, they both are. Are they? Like, are we really pulling for both of them equally, or are we supposed to pull more for one or the other? I mean, if I were to argue, I think Elsa's the main protagonist in these two movies, but no, I
the
think
movie
it's
doesn't.
Anna. Because
I think it's Elsa, but I think the movie's trying to tell me Anna is.
Well, because Anna's the one with the voice of reason.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you don't have to run away. everything's good. We're all good. Everyone has a good heart. You know,
Yeah.
it's like that kind of thing.
But then
So-
Elsa has all the hero tropes of like with the powers, wanting like not being able to control. Like she has all the hero tropes, but she's not really the main protagonist. She's kind of like the secondary one, and that's another weird dynamic about these two
It
movies.
is weird. Yeah.
Two is like I don't know who I'm pulling for both of them, but the movie's making me want to pull more for Anna than Elsa, even though Elsa has all the familiar tropes that I should be pulling more for.
That's why I think there's still like a little bit of a resonating part that when she was the villain. In the very, very
there's still
original,
elements of that
like,
in there.
Inception, like
Yeah.
when they were developing the movie,
Yeah.
I think like there's still that little bit
There's a kernel of
that
those.
that makes it being written that way where she's
And for me, what I'd like to see in Frozen 3 is a little bit more manipulation or tension built between the sisters. So like if someone is manipulating Elsa, like, oh, you have the powers.
clearly whoever wrote this doesn't have a sibling.
Like you have the power. You should be in control. Like and then Elsa, someone's manipulating Anna, like we should, like she has too much power. We should fear her. She has way too much power. Like you play with that dynamic. They can easily both be manipulated to fear the other. Like they're trying to take away your power. You have all the power. You should be.
Sound like the Emperor.
Yeah, I know, but have someone play up their fears of like how it is in the real world. If you have too much power, people are afraid of your power. If people have power, you're afraid they're gonna like play with those tropes that are they're right there. You don't even have to do it. It's already set up that way, especially down there in two different lands. It's easy to set that up. You can just have two people with their own agendas, like, all right, I'm going to manipulate Elsa, you eliminate Anna, they go at war, and then the third party wins if they are at war. It's so simple. It's right there.
At the end, they come together. And
Yeah, of
realize,
course. Yeah, the sisterly. Then you can really have a sisterly bond with them teaming up against whatever threat it is.
Yeah.
Because that's what these movies are trying to allude to, but never really pay off, is that sisterly bond that these two have that they fully have yet to give us.
Yeah.
So I mean, I want something like that in the third.
I want actually for them to introduce a new character that. Like I can get excited about that does something that is part of the clan now, like someone new, you know, like they introduced some new characters who had names and I couldn't remember their names because they didn't really do anything. But they're just people that they met.
Yeah, they're like they're background characters as far as we know right now. They might play a bigger role in part 3, but as of right now, like they don't get any. They shouldn't get any toys for them.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And I want to really understand a little bit more about this mythos surrounding these elements that they've. Yeah, exactly. And like, I need to know more about that. And also, I need confirmation that Tarzan's your brother.
Well, I don't think we're gonna get that. But I wish there was someone to give us more of a backstory of how all these powers works. That's why having someone else be the fifth element. We could have got that exposition scene where, like, yes, I'm the fifth element. These are how all the powers works. This is why you have powers and your sister does not have powers, and blah, 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 blah. I don't know why I'm talking in that voice, but that's how I envision someone with be the fifth element would sound like.
Yeah.
So just like something...
He's the fifth element.
Well, yeah, I could be. But I don't have powers, but I wish I did. Like something like that. And then, so one last thing before we give it a score and get out of here, is let's talk about the songs. So what was your favorite song? Because I felt like there was a lot of songs.
I mean, they were great songs. They were really good songs. The songs were probably the best part of the movie for me. The animation.
That's Olaf. The animation was...
The animation's incredible.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
But obviously, it's standard nowadays. I liked the music a lot. My favorite song was probably Into the Unknown. I really liked the way that they brought the Call of the North, the Tarzan cry.
That was a nice
song.
I did like that.
They did do that really, really well.
Yeah.
But of course, Kristoff's song Into the Woods was just like unexpected humor.
Yes.
Because I didn't feel like I was laughing a lot unless it was Olaf or Kristoff on the screen. So it was like a nice lighthearted moment. But
yeah, because it was a setup that, like, I know exactly what they were doing, but you didn't know that right off the bat when he started singing the song that they were going to go down that road. Mm-hmm. And once they did, you're like, oh man, that's great. I love that. Because it's like, you could feel like the audience is like oh, we get what you're doing, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they were just slowly building towards it. And once they were like, well, we're in on a joke too. Like that's great. Like you're doing this to us, but then that's like, yeah, we got what you're doing. So like that worked. Like that for me, that was like the funniest part of. Like I laughed out loud during that part because it's like, yeah, they're going for that '80s type music video vibe.
And of course, children wouldn't get it.
Yeah, they wouldn't. But again, it's another thing where you get it more when you're older.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm laughing, but I don't understand why everybody else is laughing louder. Like, I get it, but I don't. I will understand the joke better when I get older, that's what that double meaning, that hidden meaning of Olaf's song is like. They're putting it right in your face, like, hey kids, certain things you will understand better when you get older. But for right now, enjoy the movie on one level, and then when you get older, you'll enjoy it on a different level, which is great. And I love the fact that Disney has the brain to know that you don't have to put poop and fart jokes. Hey, a good poop and fart joke is fine, but some of these other movies, like
you can't just say that. Define a good poop and fart.
Like when it comes out of the blue. And told perfectly fine, it can work. But then if you're like constantly, for lack of a better term, hitting your head, hitting the audience over the head with poop joke, fart joke.
I need examples of a good poop joke.
I mean, I'm sure they're out there. If you guys know,
comment below, please.
But I'm just saying, but like when you do one, it could work, and like get a good laugh out of everybody. But when you're constantly doing it, you're doing it for 5-year-olds. And you're underestimating the intelligence of a 5-year-old. You can tell a good joke and have everybody laugh. 5-year-old, 90-year-old, and we all can laugh. But a poop joke told over and over again, you're limiting your audience to that joke. Unless you have the sense of humor of a 5-year-old, and if you do, that's fine. But the rest of us who just like, yeah, I get it, that doesn't work. So... Anyway, that's just me being, get off my lawn type thing.
I'm tickled. I need to know in the comments below what are your favorite. What are your favorite?
That didn't do anything.
No, because I'm dead side.
Yeah.
I need to know your favorite fart and poop jokes.
So what should we score this out of 10? What?
10 convoluted plots. 10 fire salamanders, because I have a lizard. So.
Like, that thing is, I mean, as soon as that thing was on the screen, I was like, that's a toy.
It's so
cute. That's such a toy.
10 will buy.
Like, they could have made that thing be anything, but just that's such a cute little thing. I'm like, that's such a toy.
I'm going to buy it.
It's the next time I go to Disneyland, it's going to be like, I know I'm going to see that thing. I'm not going to buy it, but it's just like, oh man, the marketing department is like...
You better buy it. I'll pay. I'll give you money if you pick it up for me.
That's a toy. We're going to make a lot of money off that thing. Anyway, but sorry, go your score, please.
Well, my score out of 10 fire salamanders is going to be you know what? I'm gonna give it a 7. I would normally give it a 6 because the plot is very, very convoluted and confusing. 7 because of the music. I really thought the music was, like, held it together in a way, like, I would have been done way earlier if it weren't for the music keeping me engaged and keeping me going. So those were really nice sequences, and the music was put together really well. So 7, I mean, that's higher than I normally would go.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm going to go a little bit lower than you. I'm going to go 6.5. I think the songs are good, but I don't think they did the best job in a whole of moving the story forward. They felt...
About half of them.
Yeah, like, to me, they just felt like, oh, we need a song here. Let's put a song here. Versus in a lot of the classic Disney movies, the song is them singing a song, but it's also moving the story, it's telling a story and moving it forward all at the same time. So it's like in Aladdin, when we hear the first song in Aladdin, it's moving the story forward and it's telling us about Aladdin. Like, it's doing two things in one song, right? So, like, I don't feel like these songs did that well enough. Like,
half of them did.
Half of them did. Into the Unknown is a great song. It's giving us a good picture of Elsa in that moment, but I don't think it really moved the movie that much.
Well, sure it did, because it's basically her deciding that's the moment she decides to go.
I know, but she's already going. I mean...
But in that song,
Yeah,
she decides.
I know.
Yes.
But-
What doesn't matter song wise is Olaf's song and Kristoff's song.
Yeah, those just felt
Those
like
don't move the story.
yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
forward.
Like, it just
Yeah.
we need a song here. Put a song in there. So I mean, I think, and plus because I think my expectations were very high going in. They were, but I did have an expectation of, and maybe this is just on me, that we're gonna learn more about Elsa's
Sure.
powers.
And you
where
have
they came
only
from.
seen the first movie one time.
Yeah.
So I've seen it maybe 5 times at this point. So I have a different reaction as well. So
I don't live in the same state with my niece. If I did, I would have seen it more. But the idea, though, that I know this movie has more of an effect on girls and young girls, so it's not necessarily supposed to hit directly home to me, and I get movie's not made for me. I get that, but as a film goer sitting there, I just wanted more of a story, and I feel like I just got more of an event. Does that make any sense? Like
It does.
with the songs
Yeah.
and the way it's
Yeah.
beautifully animated, it just felt like I was at an event, not necessarily looking at a movie.
Here's the thing that happened.
Yeah, like if it was not a movie and it was just a play, I would have felt the exact same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So I don't know if you guys like understand what I'm saying. It just felt like more of an event than a movie, and I was just expecting a little bit more out of it. What we got was okay, but I just wanted more, and I don't think that's asking too much. Like Disney, you're gonna make money, but it wouldn't have hurt you to wait if you're gonna wait 6 years to give us a better story. That's just me.
I agree. So
Anyway, so yeah,
that's
I would say
it's a long time to be able to put something together, guys.
yeah, I would say 6.5, but I'm leaning more to 6 than to 7.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
maybe seeing it a couple of more times, I might lean one or the other. I might be like, yeah, I really didn't like it as much. 6, maybe I like it a little bit more 7. But I'm leaning more to 6 than 7 as of right now, seeing it only once.
Right.
But you heard our thoughts. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you like our ideas of what they should have done? We should have done like the way Frozen 2 should have been written. Do you like some of our ideas? Do you have any ideas of your own of things that they should have done in this one and in the first one? Do you have ideas of what they should do in the third one? Because you know that's coming. What are your thoughts about Elsa and Anna? What they should do with them now? What they should do with them going forward? Do you like the idea of Anna and Kristoff are now married? Are they married?
He's the king?
Or he is the king. Maybe they could manipulate him because he's the king now. That's another thing they could do. Put the guy against the 2 girls. That's another way you can go. Make him the villain. Yeah. Make him the villain now.
Man.
He can get brainwashed by or manipulated by like a femme fatale and with powers and like manipulate his mind.
See, that's what I was
like
hoping they were going to do with the elements. Is there was another like sexy like wind siren?
Yeah,
that was just like
we saw the
Elsa.
trailer
was just like,
with like fiery red.
I would have been
hair
like,
or
oh
something
my,
like
that would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, you're like, you know how many more dresses you guys would sell if you'd done it that way? And then watching the third one.
Rethink this.
Like, come on, like you're selling a lot of Anna and also dresses, but imagine just like this other femme fatale.
A fire princess.
Yeah,
dress
with like
and
red hair and
Earth
everything.
princess dress and
I thought that's what they were gonna
wind
do. Like they
princess
will all be
water
princesses.
princess
Like
dress.
Like Disney, you're leaving money on the table, guys. Come on, it's right there. All those elements could have been women with different dresses, and then they would have been you would have sold a whole bunch of more dresses. Come on, now you're just gonna sell 1 or 2. You easily could have had
Fools.
5 more dresses, including Elsa's dress,
Fools.
and then next Halloween it would have been like. There would have been 5 girls all dressed as different elements. Come on, you're missing that money is right there. You could have taken it. Anyway, you can have it for the third one. It's free ideas. I mean, you can pay us if you want to.
Not free.
I mean,
I require writer credit.
Yeah, I mean,
At least
or just in let's be on set. But anyway, what do you guys? Sorry, I went off a little tangent. But what do you guys think? Drop your comments below. Also, like, subscribe, do all those great things. Share also. Make sure to hit that notification bell so when we do other trailer reviews, you get notified. When we do other reviews on movies, you get notified. All those great things that we like to do on the channel. But until next time, I'm Sean.
I'm Alex.
Let this franchise go.
Let it go.